We are working away on Unit 1213 here. What we're going to look at in this lesson is calculating the slope without graphing. In the last lesson, we looked at when you had a graph, how you could figure out the slope of the line by drawing that little right-angled triangle and figuring out your rise and your run and doing rise over run. What if you don't have a graph? What if they just give you a couple of points that are on your line? Well, the formula you want to be able to use is another formula for slope, and that's this one right here. That slope, often represented by the letter m, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This formula is going to be very, very important throughout this unit, the next unit, and the unit after that. It's not going to appear on any formula sheet, but you just want to use it enough that you know exactly what it means. So what does it mean? Well, y2 and y1 and x2 and x1 refer to the coordinates of certain points on this line. So if they give us a line like this and we want to use this formula, what we want to do is we want to pick 2 points that are on this line. So I'm going to pick this point right here. I'm going to call this point 1. Okay? So the coordinates of this point are going to be x1 and y1. Okay? And I could just look at the graph and figure out what x1 and y1 are. My x value here is going to be 0. My y value is going to be 4. And then I want to pick another point that is on this line. So I'm going to pick this one down here. Okay. This is going to be my second point. I'm going to call this one x2, y2. Okay. And I can read off the coordinates of this point that I've just done here. Let's see, my x is going to be 6. My y is going to be 0. And now I want to sub these coordinates, x1, y1, x2, y2, into this equation. So my slope is going to be, well, let's see, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. My y2 value is 0. My x2 value is 6. Okay. I'm subtracting on the top and the bottom. And let's see, my y1 is 4. My x1 is 0. And now I just want to simplify this. So I'll do the subtraction in the numerator. 0 minus 4 gives me negative 4. And 6 minus 0 gives me 6. And then I want to put this into lowest terms. So I notice that I can divide each of these by 2 to get a slope of negative 2 over 3. Now, because we have the graph right here, we could take a look at how we would do this if we were to try to find the rise and the run. We would pick a point. We could pick another point here. We could draw our little right-angled triangle, find our rise and our run. Our rise is, let's see, we're going down 2, so our rise is negative 2. Our run, we're going over 1, 2, 3. Our run would be 3. So again, if we use rise over run, we would get negative 2 over 3, the same way we do using this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So subtracting the 2 y values in the numerator just tells you how much your line goes up or down. Subtracting the 2 x values in the denominator just tells you how far this thing goes across. Okay. So that's an example where we have a graph that we can actually work off of. What if they just give us the 2 points? Well, that's the next question you have on the page there. Find the slope of the line between the points negative 1, negative 3, and 4, 7. Well, again, we're going to use our formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We want to look at these 2 points, these 2 ordered pairs that they've given us, and we want to call one of them x1, y1, and one of them x2, y2. So I'm going to take my first point here, negative 1, negative 3, and I'm going to say that this first coordinate is x1, and the second coordinate is y1. And then the second point that they give us over here, I'll say that my 4 is my x2, and my 7 is my y2. And now let's just sub those numbers into this equation. y2 is 7, x2 is 4, so I've got 7 and 4, minus my x1 is -1, so I'll put that down in the denominator. My y1 is -3, and now I just need to do this subtraction. Let's see, 7 minus -3 is like 7 plus 3, so that gives me 10. And then in the denominator, 4 minus -5, that's like 4 plus 5, plus 1, and that gives me 5. So my slope is 10 over 5, or I can simplify that by doing the division, and my slope is just 2. So that would be the slope of the line.